Imagine standing in the desert, no water, no help, no army, only truth in your heart and death in your shadow. One man, Imam Husayn, may Allah be pleased with him, the grandson of the Prophet, peace be upon him, stood against 30,000 soldiers, not with a sword, but with faith. This is not just a story of martyrdom. It's not just tragedy. This is the heartbeat of Islam. This is Karbala. Have you ever wondered why every tear shed for Husayn, may Allah be pleased with him, echoes across the skies? Why even angels tremble when ashura is mentioned? This is the story of dignity that refused to kneel, a story that did not end in the sands of Karbala, but began there. A story that could change how you live your life. If you think you know what happened at Karbala, think again. The real story will leave you speechless. Stay till the end. I promise, your heart will never forget what Husayn, may Allah be pleased with him, stood for. Hit subscribe, share this sacred message, and let's revive the light of Karbala together. This day, may the angels weep Karbala like you've never heard before. Blood rang in the air, the clamor of steel, the wails of the wounded, the burning horizon, dust rising like a funeral pall. It was the 10th day of Muharram. It belonged to an innocent child born of heaven, a grandson of the messenger of God, and nephew of Caliph Ali, may Allah be pleased with him. Husayn ibn Ali, may Allah be pleased with him. On this day, 61 AH, in the forbidding desert near Karbala, lived and died a reality that would shake the world. From the first light of dawn, it felt as though creation itself mourned. A gloom bent the sky. The intense heat of late summer weighed on sweat-soaked bodies. Husayn, may Allah be pleased with him, stood amid a ragged, thirsty camp of 72 souls. Women, children, old men, a few loyal companions. They gazed at the unmoving battalions of Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad, standing 40,000 strong at the Euphrates' eerie silence. A river blocked. Water refused the thirsty mouths of the oppressed. The air tasted of tyranny and death. Horror darkened the heart. The enemy, swollen with arrogance, had forbidden a drop of water to Husayn, may Allah be pleased with him. And those with him, they drank the crimson shade of fear itself and prayed for deliverance. Yet amid the despair, a strange peace enveloped Husayn, may Allah be pleased with him. His eyes reflecting the sunlight, his voice soft but resolute. If God wills our reunion with him, then let us thirst in his way. But if he wills mercy, he will reveal it. Emotion trembled in his voice, fierce yet tender to his young children clinging to him. Even before the first clash, there had been miracles. As the sun climbed above Karbala, a curling column of green mist descended around Husayn, may Allah be pleased with him, shielding him like a royal pavilion. His companions shielded their eyes, whispers rising, angels or mercy. At that moment, bones froze in the enemy's camp. Horses reared, soldiers faltered. But commanders, filled with hatred at the humiliation, spurred on their beasts. The green mist dissolved, but hearts had known wonder and feared. By afternoon, the drums of battle thundered. With horrifying shrieks, swords struck, shields splintered, armor shivered. Husayn's, may Allah be pleased with him, small band returned blow for blow. Every step was paid in blood. His cousin, Abul Fadl al-Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him, marched dripping in crimson, carrying the sacred water bag, hemmed in by enemies. With courage born not from madness, but urgent necessity, he broke through. They called him the flag of loyalty, and the miracle glowed evergreen. He returned with watered canteens, though half his body gashed, his face drenched in sacred purpose. The mystery thickened. The night before, a voice had whispered in the camp. A dream? Or an angel? Urging Husayn, may Allah be pleased with him, to hold fast, assured victory of souls, if not bodies. They may stain the sand crimson, said the voice, but in paradise your martyrs stand tall. That promise glowed like a lifeline through the coming darkness. Yet tragedy had no end. The enemy's swords cut deeper. Children wailed in their mother's arms. Zainab, Husayn's, may Allah be pleased with him, sister, cradled them, her throat raw from prayers and cries. From the horizon, a raven's solitary caw drifted, like a conductor calling the final symphony of life written in agony. Time slowed. Every breath felt suspended between life and death. Husayn, may Allah be pleased with him, wounded now, struggled on. With each step, the earth seemed to wind up the drama of fate. He fell kneeling, raising a single finger to the sky, proclamations of Tawhid, the oneness of God, slipping from his dry lips. And then the final charge. The horror reached its zenith. A sword cleaved his head from his body. The tent roots shook. All went silent as midnight. The river wept unseen beneath shamed water. Families screamed to the sky. Time cracked. Creation trembled in rupture. But suddenly the earth exhaled. An enormous wind roared across Karbala. The dust cloud revealed reclining figures. Husayn's, may Allah be pleased with him. Body untouched by decay, his blood still fresh and pure, radiant beneath the pallid sky. Across the camp tents, candles relit themselves. The bloodied water bags shone clean. Incurable despair found strange solace. A miracle bloomed from the horror. Horses refused to drink the enemy's water. Desert animals trotted into the camp to stand guard over the fallen. A doe passed carrying a twig, green even in heat so hot. The foliage quivered in the air. Husayn's sister raised trembling hands and proclaimed, "By this God testifies. He chose the weak against the strong, but gave them eternal triumph." Later, caravans racing across the desert would carry the news. Husayn, may Allah be pleased with him, sacrificed his blood so that shadow never be cast upon truth again. Although death pervaded the field, resurrection gnawed at the edges of sorrow. In faraway lands, believers looked upward and felt shivers as their tears welled, as though something cosmic had moved within them. Men bowed in prayer. Women wept inconsolably in silent halls. Mystery had awakened their souls. Then came the night of the final miracle. Across the Euphrates, the river parted for a moment, letting the camp's unprotected drink deeply. It whispered a sign. Though oppression can choke, it cannot quench truth. By dawn of the 11th, the battlefield stood empty of life, yet full of life's testament. The sands were soaked with blood, but glistened with redemption. Husayn's, may Allah be pleased with him, presence, though vanished, haunted hearts with an everlasting message. Justice stands eternal, even when the world bows to tyranny. From that moment to today, every Muharram 10th, millions across the world feel that tension. The horror of sacrifice, the hope of miracle, the shiver of suspense in the face of injustice. They march with black flags, recite the elegies, reenact the stands by the river. They cry, not out of sorrow only, but out of profound reverence for that cosmic moment when a grandson of the Prophet gave his body so humanity could live. The body of Husayn, may Allah be pleased with him, lay upon the sands, head severed, chest trampled, his limbs twisted in unnatural stillness. But his face still bore the trace of smile, as though in that last moment he had seen Jannah open, had seen the Prophet, peace be upon him, waiting for him, arms wide. The sky darkened unnaturally. Birds fell mid-flight. A solar eclipse was recorded by Persian astronomers. The wind howled in a strange rhythm, like a dirge sung by angels. Some of the soldiers of Yazid's army later confessed they could not sleep for years. Their dreams were haunted by the face of Husayn, glowing calm, yet judging. But the horror was not done. The enemy soldiers desecrated his body. They galloped horses over his chest, cracking ribs that once rose and fell beneath the Prophet's loving touch. They burned tents, tore earrings from the ears of young girls, including the earring of little Sakina, Husayn's, may Allah be pleased with him, beloved daughter, who screamed as blood dripped from her tiny ear. They laughed as they snatched veils from the noble women of the Prophet's household. Zainab, may Allah be pleased with her, daughter of Fatima, sister of Husayn, may Allah be pleased with him, stood tall amidst the smoke. Her body shook, not with fear, but with rage and dignity. She shouted, "O Yazid, do you think you have won because you have martyred Husayn? May Allah be pleased with him." Nay, by Allah, you have only slit your own fate. His blood will water the roots of truth until the day of judgment. The mystery was only beginning. That night, while Yazid's soldiers slept, strange things happened in Karbala. A flickering light was seen above the body of Husayn. May Allah be pleased with him. Some said it was the light of Jibreel. Others claimed they heard the Quran being recited from his severed head. A guard who approached the body fell dead with foam at his mouth. In the enemy camp, horses neighed in terror. Tents caught fire without flame, and a voice rose on the desert winds, deep, echoing, ethereal. Woe to those who touched the blood of the Prophet's grandson. Woe to those who laughed at the suffering of the innocent. One commander, Al-Hur ibn Yazid, who had defected to Husayn's, may Allah be pleased with him, sighed and died fighting for him, was seen by a nomad in a dream that very night. His body was glowing, resting in a meadow surrounded by white birds. "We are not dead," he whispered. "We are alive as Allah promised. We await our loved ones in the gardens of light." But for the family of Husayn, may Allah be pleased with him, the journey of horror had only begun. Shackled, humiliated, paraded through towns from Karbala to Kufa to Damascus, the noble women of ahlulbayt walked barefoot through jeering crowds. In Kufa, a woman saw Zainab's, may Allah be pleased with her tear-streaked face, and sobbed. She rushed with a scarf to cover her, but was pulled away. In the crowd, one old man shouted, "What evil is this? Is this not the family of our prophet?" In the dark dungeons of Damascus, little children cried without their father, thirsty again, sick again. Sakina clung to her Aunt Zainab. May Allah be pleased with her every night, asking, "Where is Baba? Will he come tonight? I saw him in my dream. He smiled at me." That same night, Sakina awoke screaming. She had seen a vision, her father, head in hand, surrounded by light. She fainted. By morning, she had died in her aunt's arms. Zainab, may Allah be pleased with her, wept with a pain that burned the heavens. "Ya Allah, how many more do you test? How many shall fall from our house?" But the miracles continued. When Husayn's, may Allah be pleased with him, head was brought before Yazid in his court, the tyrant mockingly tapped it with a stick. From nowhere, a voice thundered across the marble walls. "Woe unto you, O Yazid! The angels curse you, and the throne of Allah trembles." An old Christian monk in Yazid's city begged to keep the head of Husayn, may Allah be pleased with him, for one night. That night, he placed it gently on a pillow and wept. At midnight, he saw the Prophet, peace be upon him, in a dream, thanking him. The next morning, the monk converted to Islam. Even Yazid's own court began to crumble. His ministers whispered in fear. His own son, seeing the purity of the Prophet's family, refused the throne later in life, saying, "I shall not touch a crown soaked in Husayn's, may Allah be pleased with him." Blood. Back in Karbala, villagers and Bedouins reported lights over the graves, rose-scented winds in the night, and strange, soft chanting in the breeze. Some swore that the earth around Husayn's, may Allah be pleased with him, grave turned red in Muharram, and water drawn from nearby wells would taste of tears. No bird would fly overhead. No jackal dare pass by. Years later, the noble heads were returned to Karbala. It is said that when Husayn's, may Allah be pleased with him, head touched his body again, the earth shook, and a fragrance unlike any known scent filled the air. But perhaps the most mysterious and miraculous sign is the echo of Karbala that never fades. Every year, millions gather, weep, beat their chests, and walk barefoot in honor of the one who stood for truth. What army has lasted like Husayn's? May Allah be pleased with him. What blood has written history more deeply? It was not just a battlefield. It was a theater of divine will. It was a tale of horror turned to hope, of mystery turned to faith, of tragedy reborn as triumph. And in the night when Zainab, may Allah be pleased with her, stood staring at the stars. She whispered a prayer not of complaint, but of submission. "O Allah, accept this sacrifice from us." From that day, the name Husayn, may Allah be pleased with him, became more than a name. It became a cry, a movement, a heartbeat. In every oppressed land, in every soul that resists injustice, in every tear of the innocent, the story of Karbala lives again. It is no ordinary day. It is the 10th of Muharram. It is the day of Ashura. And Husayn, may Allah be pleased with him, still stands, forever alive in the hearts of those who choose justice over comfort, truth over silence, and faith over fear.